Every year, a new NBA season begins, and it offers all 30 teams a clean slate to start fresh and make their mark. With all of their moves that they make in the off-seasons, from drafting to free agent signings to trading, then to their expected fit and integrations into the lineups, these teams work hard to give themselves the best shot possible to compete for that season. When the year is about to begin, the fans and media alike typically have a pretty common set of expectations for each team, and with the amount of outlets publishing articles and content discussing these expectations and predictions for how they believe the team should perform, if they fail to live up to that hype, they land in the category of disappointing. This brings us to the topic of today's video, where we'll be discussing the 4 NBA teams that have disappointed everybody the most this season, as we approach the halfway point of the year, along with why they find themselves here and if they can turn things around as the season progresses. Before we start though, I want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. PrizePicks is the perfect service for all of us basketball fans here because when you're involved, it makes watching games every night so much more fun and engaging. Basically, it's an application that provides you with lines on all kinds of individual player props, such as points, rebounds, and assists, and you simply have to choose whether you believe they will record over the set amount in the line or under the set amount in the line. Make your selections, wager however much you want to, and if your picks hit, you can win big money. For some picks I'm looking at today, I'm thinking of going with the hot hand of Fred VanVleet to score over 21.5 points, Joel Embiid to grab over 10.5 rebounds, and DeJounte Murray to dish out over 7 assists. If this at all sounds intriguing to you, then go to the link in the description of this video to sign up today and use promo code REFERENCE to receive a 100% deposit match bonus up to $100. Once again, thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into the topic at hand. Starting things off today, the first team on this list of the biggest disappointments of the season is the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks emerged in a massive way last season, making the playoffs as the 5th seed and then upsetting both the Knicks and 76ers on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals, before eventually getting ousted by the eventual champion Milwaukee Bucks. When you're coming off of a run that successful and bring back pretty much the entire core of the team from that run for the next season, the obvious expectation is for them to solidify themselves as contenders, but they've basically done the opposite of that. The Hawks are currently in 12th place in the Eastern Conference standings, not even good enough for the play-in tournament at the moment, and while there are some valid excuses that can be applied to their struggles, it doesn't completely give them a pass for their overall terrible performances. Trae Young is their leader and best player, and he's only missed 3 games so far this season. What's crazy is that the team actually has the second best offense in the NBA this season, but they have been so dreadfully bad on defense that it weighs them down, ranking 26th in the league on that other end of the floor. Players like DeAndre Hunter and Onyeka Okongwu are 2 of their best defenders and have missed most of the season, so with Okongwu back in the mix now and Hunter coming back soon, hopefully they will get some much needed boost on defense, which is where they need it, but the rest of the team still has to step their game up on defense if they want to actually be able to take advantage of all of the points that they're scoring on a nightly basis. The next team disappointing everyone this season is the Los Angeles Lakers, coming in as one of the most obvious selections for this list. The Lakers arguably made the most noise this offseason through a combination of signing tons of rotational talent and making a big trade for Russell Westbrook. They have a lot of names that look good on paper, but the actual product they've been putting out on the floor is a different story. There were admittedly some concerns before the season about the age of a lot of their veterans and the fact that they were all a bit over the hill as players as a collective, but most still saw the Lakers as one of the favorites to win the finals. So for them to now be in 7th place in the Western Conference, only 1 game over 500, is pretty disappointing all things considered. The Russell Westbrook experience has been nothing short of a roller coaster, as 1 minute his energy crashing the glass, pushing the pace and attacking the basket could be giving them a boost, while the next minute he'll be throwing ill-advised turnovers and clanking shots. Anthony Davis was also surprisingly struggling defensively, and his jumper was also pretty broken before he got injured, which has held him out of the last few weeks of play now. LeBron James, surprise surprise, is actually playing out of his mind right now, keeping the ship afloat the best that he can, but the supporting cast of his Lakers team probably right now is not good enough to win it all. I expect them to be pretty busy around the time of the trade deadline because they can't afford to waste any more of LeBron's best years. The next team disappointing everybody this season is the Boston Celtics. Once upon a time, the Celtics were seen as the next NBA dynasty, set to take over the league once LeBron James's reign came to an end. Fast forward back to the present day though, and we see them currently in 10th place in the East with a losing record. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, at least individually, are probably two of the most promising young wing players in the league right now, and they both possess an elite ability to score and create for themselves. The issue, though, is that it can sometimes be tough for them to work in unison with this similar skill set. What also doesn't help is the fact that the supporting cast of the Celtics lack true playmakers who are capable of creating for others and making the lives of Brown and Tatum easier on a consistent basis, and their additional lack of consistent shooters makes their lives even tougher, as you know you're in trouble when the team's leading shooters from three are Josh Richardson and Grant Williams. The blame really shouldn't be on either Tatum or Brown, it should be on those that failed to build a competent team around them, so they may be stuck in limbo unless they decide to do something brash, such as trading away one of those two stars. And finally, the last team we'll be discussing today that has disappointed everyone this season is the Portland Trail Blazers. This offseason, we finally saw Damian Lillard begin to crack, with his whole "I'm happy where I'm at" persona beginning to fade as he publicly called out his organization for failing to put the right pieces around him to contend for titles. He still to this day insists that he's not going to request a trade, but after he called them out begging for them to make some big moves, they basically did the opposite by keeping the team pretty much intact as is, while only making small, insignificant signings that really haven't helped the team at all. The Trailblazers are in 12th place in the West, with a huge hill to climb if they want to get back into playoff contention, and they are literally the worst-ranked defensive team in the NBA this year. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are both currently out because of injuries, but the team was bad before they got hurt too, so it's not really an excuse, but what it does tell us is that they are more than likely not going to be turning their season around. This very well may be the beginning of the end for the Blazers, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum era, as one very well could be dealt either at the trade deadline or after this season concludes, and honestly, a rebuild is probably in their best interest anyway. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below who you think has been the biggest disappointment of the season. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.